Hi, good morning. It's Jim from the Mavstar Observatory. Guys, we've got pretty much everything under control with the pole shift work that we're doing up until this point in time. The only thing that really we've got to get done is making sure that these muon detectors before they go out are working reliable, and we can send them out along with some magnetometers. I want to talk to something about which is really serious in a few seconds, but before we do, guys, if you are one of those few that are supporting us here at the observatory, and you believe what we do, and that's part of the reason why you support us, we're not just talking about these things, we're actually proactively trying to offer solutions, then big thank you to you guys for doing so. Our patrons, those people that make those one-off payments on PayPal. And if you're not, or you haven't yet, why not consider it, guys? Because right now I think we all need solutions to what's going on, and in particular I want to talk about this because, as you probably know, we've got a global pandemic of COVID-19. There is also another strain of this out there, GATG13, you may or may not be aware of, and now scientists in Iceland claim they have found 40 mutations of the coronavirus, and admit 7 cases can be traced back to a football match in the United Kingdom. This is gonna get out of hand, and if it hasn't already came about, then it will do. We are going to find one of these strands match up in alignment with ground zero pneumonia, and what we're talking about is the pneumonic plague, or the return of the pneumonic plague. What this, and I said before already to you guys, what this strain seems to like doing is mutating in small numbers. So it got to 100,000, there was another mutation. Now there are many 100,000 cases globally, and as I thought it would do, it is mutating. And it is only a matter of time before we have a strain which is a killer of all age groups, no matter whether you are fit, healthy, or have underlying problems. You are going to go down with this, and I believe our governments are completely and utterly aware of what is going on. They are completely downplaying the numbers and the risks involved in this, and they're not doing way enough, guys. And it's only going to get worse from this point on. I'm not trying to frighten you, I just want you to know the situation at hand, and it is very serious, guys. We've got possibly now 40 mutations of this, which means we can get this 40 different times, if that's true. What this means is that this problem is not going away in the foreseeable future. This is going to be a long-term game fighting this problem off, and that's if we're able to do so. Guys, it's going to kill millions around the world, and I said this the other day and I got slammed for it by a few people, but the facts are the facts, and that is what's coming. The governments, if they was honest and told people, there would be a lot more panic than what there is already. But we are already starting to see the cracks of what I predicted would come next, and this will lead eventually down to the grid down scenario. I've always said we are on a gauntlet, and we expected pole shift and the weakened magnetosphere to be the thing that actually broke the grid, and in turn caused social unrest after the food had stopped going into the shops. But what we seem to have done is skipped for the time being the grid down scenario and gone straight into the food shortages, and now we are starting to see the cracks form in social unrest. It is beginning. We've got people on the news today, if you've been watching Sky News in Italy, threatening that they will do what they will have to do in order to survive. We've got people trying to kick in windows even in front of police in Italy right now, and what's happened is they have probably burned out whatever stocks they've got left. As this one guy was saying, his daughter's eating this little bit of bread, but tomorrow that little bit of bread will probably be going, and we are going to have to go out and get food no matter how we can. And we got another guy threatening he's going to do what he's going to do with a gun in his hand. And this is what we're going to see happen globally. It isn't just going to be Italy. It's going to be something that we're going to see in all our countries. We're going to see a lot of rioting, a lot of social unrest, and it is going to threaten the continuity of governments. And I know what people are thinking, Gene, you are reading from a scientific novel here. You know, this is like crazy. Trust me, I know I've been right so far. I told you weeks before it even got to the point where you needed to get your food to save you being one of these people now that haven't got any toilet roll in your house. You know, not that I was out panic buying toilet roll. I just managed to get enough in for a period of time, you know, just like I did the food. But there are so many people out there that haven't even got food yet. And, you know, if you go around the shops in the UK, you go around the shops in the United States or Australia, you will see the same picture as what I'm seeing. Those staples, those canned foods, all disappearing off the shelves. And, you know, what happens when it completely runs out? And, it, you know, you might be thinking, can that even possibly happen? You know, someone was telling me, one of the family members was telling me that we've got plenty of food, we'll never run out of food. Really? If China shut down, whatever produce comes from China is also stopped coming into the UK, and it will be for other countries as well. And if Italy closes down, it might be wines or cheeses or, you know, cold meats, things like that. Then that will disappear off the shelf and won't be replenished because it simply isn't being exported if the country's in lockdown. And now, as these countries like Spain, France, Germany, you know, ding, 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 all the way along, stop exporting their goods, that means that whatever your country produces will be the only thing left on the shelves. And if you're here in the UK, you know we grow a lot of rapeseed, and rapeseed isn't just going to cut it with everybody. So, you know, I'm just giving you a heads up, guys. We're probably here in the UK 30 days away from the beginning of the acceleration of the pandemic. And if, like these scientists claim, that there is 40 strains of this, then that can be that peak can be stretched for as long as you want. It all depends on the strategy of the government. But I've heard, and you know, I've seen, even with the algorithms that I've used, that there could be up to 7 million people in the UK die from the first wave of the first strain of this virus. Now, I believe that there is more than one strain out there. Obviously, we know that there is the G13, there's COVID-19, and you know, these scientists believe that there's another 40 strains, and I think that that's probably close on the truth. But you know, it's going to mutate a lot more. This is the nature of this virus. It does freely mutate, it seems. You know, and I said this weeks ago when we heard of the first mutation in Wuhan, China. And what that means is that this can just keep going round and round and round. And even if one country clears it up, then how they're going to stop the virus coming back into that country that cleared it up, you know, with a different strain? If they're testing kits solely focused on COVID-19, what happens when G13 comes into the country and it doesn't get picked up on their test kits? What happens when the other 40 mutations turn up? How are they going to stop that coming into the country if they don't even know what they're looking for in the first place? There won't be a test kit for that. It means that this next mutations join, you know, the other mutations that we've got already, and it just keeps going round and round and round. So you may get it once, and this is what the government was puzzling me for, because they know once a person builds up an antibody to it, you can't necessarily get it again unless you have a terrible immune system. Well, you know, your immune system's going to fight off one, it's going to build up antibodies for the one, then you're going to get it again, and it's going to be a different mutation of this, which means you're going to go through similar symptoms. But we do have something new happening in the UK, and we've seen it also in America, and even the doctors are admitting it now. They're saying, don't be under the influence that this is just going after weak and old people. We had here in the UK a 21-year-old girl die, and no underlying health problems. Well, whatever strain or mutation of the coronavirus she's got must have been one of the most lethal ones. if it can take out a healthy person at the age of 21 with no underlying health problems, we have something out there right now which is seriously, seriously deadly. Now, I mean, guys, I'm looking further down the road. I know we've got this peak coming in about 30 days. That's the beginning of the peak. We haven't even hit it yet, and yet we've seen yesterday the figures come out, 200 and so many people dead in a 24-hour period. You know, if you look at Italy, 900 plus dead, Spain 900 plus dead, America in the hundreds themselves. You know, as the weeks go on now, the amounts of daily dead are going to keep increasing. You know, I've got to say this, guys, the government can't fix this problem. It's beyond being fixed now. You know, you need to now have some other plans of what you're going to do. That's what I mean, I've got my plan A. I haven't got my plan B, but for some reason I have got my plan C. I don't want to get to that point yet myself. But if there is no other alternative, then plan C is going to come into effect. And, you know, a few of you are aware of what my plan C is. But there's no way I am going to stick around whilst social unrest rips through the very fabric of our understanding of what we live today. But it will. And I really don't think that governments can hold continuity at that point, even if they bring the military onto the scene. Because, you know, the military are not immune to COVID-19, and I don't think that they want to be herding a lot of people. What frightened me yesterday is where I saw Donald Trump suggest he wanted to quarantine New York and a few other neighbouring states. You know, are we already there yet? We want to start welding up bridges and putting blockades in and trapping people into cities. I think if I'd have heard that yesterday and I lived in New York, I'd have been making a beeline out of there, because, you know, we've all seen how these things play out, haven't we? When people get locked in a city and the food then suddenly doesn't get in there, then the electric doesn't get in there, and then the sewerage doesn't get out of there. You know, we are living in crazy times right now. That you've got to understand, we're at war with a virus, and there is no communication with this virus. It's not got the intelligence to communicate back with us, and, you know, we cannot say, call it a truce. You know, at some point this thing will carry on working its way through the entire population of this earth until, let's hope it isn't the case, until it makes us possibly extinct. You must think, Gene, you're off your trolley, even suggesting that. Yeah. Come back to this channel in about 30 days time and tell me it doesn't look like that is going to be a, you know, possibility at that point. Give me 30 days and see how far I am wrong this time, because I'm usually right a lot. Anyhow, guys, you know, it's Sunday. You know, you're probably spending the time with your families. You know, I just thought I'd bring this to your attention because this was the last thing we needed to see. 40 different mutations of this disease. It means that it's not going away in a matter of months or even years now. This is here to stay for a lot longer than that, and just simply quarantining people isn't going to be isn't going to resolve this problem. You know, because eventually people are going to starve, like we're seeing already in Italy after being locked up for the period of time that they have. You know, this is going to be a reality that we are going to see ourselves here in the UK, in Australia, in Canada, in America, in South Americas. You know, it's coming to Europe. It's going to be everywhere, and it's staying with us. Now, what does that say for the economic situation globally? You know, what does that say to you know people's jobs? Short term, long term. You know, these are the things we need to start thinking about. You know, I'll leave you with those thoughts, guys, and you know, give me your opinion in the comment section, and yeah, try and enjoy the best time you can right now, and do the best you can to keep yourself safe. And I'll catch up with you at some point in the week. Hopefully we can knock out the problems with these muon detectors and get those sent out. You know, guys, there's a link down there if you want to help support us at the observatory. You know, we're trying to be, you know, offering solutions, you know, trying to give people a heads up here. You know, if that's worth anything to you guys and you want to support, be a supporter, links are there. I'll say what I usually do. You take care. As always, bye for now.